Okay. Yeah. So let's start this BOF. The I I talk about a bit about I know, and I want to share your knowledge to reduce the workflow to write down precise Debian copyright file. Uh, I guess you know the Debian copyright file. It's important piece of the Debian source package. It's the data information about the copyright and its license. And its style is the before the copyright format 1.0 and after the copyright format 1.0. So copyright format 1.0, also named DebConf, declare information for each file. This abc.c and def.c is this license, and this PNG file is this kind of the some kind of the Creative Commons license, and this file is Apache 2 license. And before that, we just write this. So this Debian package is Debianized by someone, and this is under the GPL. That's all. So it's so primitive one and precise one. And in my point of view, to write the precise Debian copyright file is hard for me. Debian copyright file is, again, important information about the package. If you don't like the precise information, lack of data, then you upload to the new queue, FTP masters rejected. Hey, Rogerson, you write down the precise Debian copyright file, reject and reject and reject and yeah. But as I said, to write down the precise information is a bit hard. So I want to know how to write it with less effort. So I guess we want some automation for it with some kind of tool. And other than Debian, they try to reduce to write the license information with tools. I share the information about two distros, Yocto and SUSE. Yocto has the kind of spec file, and it has the license file checksum, and if its checksum changed, the package maintainer should check it and maybe update it. Now in Debian, I guess if the upstream changed the copyright copying file, some maintainers may notice it, and rest of them don't notice it and just ignore it. So it's a kind of thing good to introduce the Debian if we can. This is a fancy feature in Yocto. And SUSE have, I'm not sure how to pronounce, Cavell or something, the legal review tool for SUSE lawyers. not developers, for lawyers, because they are the company and they have the maybe inside or just a contract with lawyers, and the lawyers review the licenses, and I didn't use it, just look it and their GitHub repo, and there's the picture of it. This is the power module, and they analyze its risk. There's some risks, and maybe the lawyers give some priorities to them and deal with them. Maybe we can use this kind of tool for the new queue. And I want to exchange the information about the other project related to the open source license, SPDX, and the OpenChain from Linux Foundation. How many of you know about the SPDX? Raise your hand. Almost of them. The software package data exchange. It's similar to the Debian, the license specification, but a bit different. And it was used by some the license scanners, open source and the proprietary one. The open source one is the one you may know is Phosphology, and the proprietary one is Black Duck. So, in my opinion, we Debian consider to have some compatibilities or some kind of rules to exchange the data with the SPDX. It will help the end users. And one is OpenChain is the open source compliance from such kind of some car company like Toyota or Honda in Japan. There's a huge supply chain, and it named Keiretsu. Just kind of the Toyota has the contract to another company, and another company contract to another company, and the company, another company, like the big kind of supply chain, and the compliance is the important thing for their business, and some manufacturers now use the open source and consider to how to apply the appropriate compliance for their vendors. So maybe we can help each other. We from the distribution point of view and the user's point of view, we can share the information and the effort. Maybe they can help with their money. And today I bring some leaflet from the OpenChain project. So please bring to your home, your company, it. Yeah. And I want to know about the fancy tools in Debian. So please let me know how to reduce the effort to write the precise Debian copyright file. So my talk is that's all. So please share your knowledge or your question about the Debian copyright file or open source license, or there's some other project or something.
One remark regarding the Yocto, the checksum thing you mentioned. That one is only covering the license file itself. That does not necessarily mean that the copyright has changed in the source code. So it's a hint if that change, that the license may be completely changed, but it does not give an idea about the actual license of the source code.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, I think you can use that to check some headers of the file, right? You can check the line 2 from line 6. The checksum. I think Yocto does provide that too.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, it does, but it's basically the same thing as
you
manually check every file, and then you're still missing the cases where files have been added.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks. So in addition to what you mentioned, so maybe it would help if you had a tool to extract a comment header of a file. That would have to be a tool which is programming language dependent, but the differences between the different styles of comments are not so great. So maybe it would be possible to have a tool just to extract from each source file an initial comment block, and then use this checksum technique on this comment block of the source files.
All of you like the Debian copyright file just with your eyes and hand, without any tools? If you use some kind of tools, please let me know.
There's something tool in the wiki, but I have tried once for some project, but its result is actually in result I have to write manually, and I have tried many tools, but both are failed to me.
So you are satisfied with like it manually? I don't.
But just because there are no perfect tools. We have a wiki on the Debian called name is Copyright Review Tools, and it lists many tools, but I don't know if one of you have tried this.
Yeah. Please show its wiki page with this.
Actually, I just opened that wiki page, and I personally used a few of those tools.
Really?
And I think the tools to generate copyright Debian / copyright file is not too few, but too much. Too much tools to generate the incomplete copyright files.
Yeah. And have you tried it?
I have tried a few tools.
Did you?
Personally, yes.
Which is the best one for you? For you, not for us. For you, just.
I think I just tried maybe 2 years ago, and when I packaged a new Debian package. At that time, the best tool I used was the DCopy, DECOPY.
There is on the wiki.
Yes, it's on the wiki.
So I don't install the IRC client on this laptop, so
I can show you the wiki page.
Which one? You have the. Thank you. So I'll give you the leaflet from the open chain. Please take it. I bring it from Japan.
Thank you.
So I take it. It takes 40 hours flight. Yeah. English version? Yeah. Yeah. Please take it. Yeah. And for you. And all of you.
Quite a few tools in Debian that can generate or check the Debian slash copyright file. The first is the license check. Just use a command like this. And another is scan copyright. I didn't use this.
Yeah.
And the other is the CME. I have tried this. This is quite good. Returning per. This maybe is too old. And another one is DB make.
A lot. Yeah.
This is the decopy I just mentioned. That return in Python. This is quite good. As I tried. And another famous one is the check all the things.
All the things? Really?
Not only copyright, but other like linking errors. So it's check all the things before you upload. So here it's with the parameter copyright, means only check the copyright. Yeah. There's many.
Lot. So.
Yes, because there are too many tools, so maybe we can write another tool to merge and compare all those results.
One license checker.
Yeah.
So Roger, so you do that job for the bullseye. Please. Do you know the license effort in other project other than Debian? There's a lot of distributions and a lot of software projects, and licensing is an important piece for them and us. But have you ever heard about that? No?
So
only Debian is working for licensing?
So especially in commercial environments, they have automated scanning tools, for example, Black Duck, which automates searching for licenses, and that they exactly know what they have, and they have also, of course, red-listed or blacklisted licenses to avoid any infringement and so on. And it's pretty standard to use, for example, Black Duck, to even during the build of the software. So that's commercial environments.
So most of the companies use Black Duck or something for the license check.
So their purpose is not documenting licensing for Debian copyright issues purposes. It's more that they ensure that they are in the legal boundaries they set themselves. They are not violating, and also that they try to figure out what source codes they need to give to their customers.
So just check not violate some kind of the licensing issue with or copyright issue.
Yeah, so they check to prevent liability on their side. So it's a different approach.
So yeah.
It's definitely it's so that they can ensure that they have an accurate accounting. Definitely, was this being recorded? Okay. Black Duck definitely plays on companies' fear in their marketing of like, oh, there are many companies that just basically will run a Black Duck scan on every company they acquire, just to make sure there's no skeletons hiding in the closet. Love just to hear from the community as to what people think we need to be, like what level, what burden do we want to be holding ourselves to? Because even if you just scan, say, the first few lines of a file, like we do very often read through every line, like at least page through all the source code when we review as an FTP team. Because like you'll be surprised the number of times that someone says, comment, copied from Stack Overflow in the middle of an otherwise perfectly acceptable program, where like the program says GPL, blah blah blah, but because they copied a function whole cloth from Stack Overflow, that's under CC by SA, which is not compatible with and basically almost any copyleft license. And it's very difficult to catch those things without doing manual review. But there are definitely some entrants that are like, I think actually Black Duck might even have a database of Stack Overflow source code that they use in their scans. So I would love to see us get better tooling, because I don't enjoy reviewing it either, but we do it because it's important to make sure Debian stays free.
Yep. Thank you.
I just have a question for the FTP master. So what's the tool you use to review the license or copyright? And
what tool do we use?
Can FTP master share the effort with other developers or not? I want to know that.
So I mean, we generally don't have, like, you'll be very disappointed in the level of tooling we have. It's I open up Midnight Commander and I have all of the files in one pane, and I have the file content in the other pane, and you go through and you push the down key a bunch of times. It's actually, it's one of those cases where we would love to invest in better tooling, but this, the new queue is right now at 250 packages, and it's like we could work on developing ourselves something better, or we could continue reviewing. And it's sort of, it's always easier to go and fix the immediate problem of the new package in the queue than to invest in something better, because what we have kind of sort of works. Like, we definitely aren't going to review, like, if we get like a new version of Linux, we're not reading through all the source code of Linux, but at least for packages that are somewhat manageable, we do in fact just push the down key 1,000 times sometimes. For extremely large packages, we'll like grep for like copyright, maybe, like, as in, like, or do a case insensitive grep and run license check and various other tools in the archive. But for packages that aren't more than, say, 1,000 files or two, so we just feed through all the code.
Do you have any plans to develop some kind of tool to reduce the licensing work, or you are happy with playing with the
so again, like, so nothing in the immediate future. We recently got some more FTP trainees, and eventually they'll become FTP assistants, and that will help hopefully give us more bandwidth with it, because basically, if the queue is short enough, then we can spend more of our Debian time working on better tooling. There are no near-term plans. I would love for us to make some, but
maybe it's good for to give a plan for the summer of code, the student, to make the kind of tiny tools, or integrate the existing tools with your workflow, I guess.
like I guess to give you an example of the low-hanging fruit here, we don't currently have a easy formula for show me the delta between this package and the last version I reviewed. So like it's hard for me to say. It's hard for me to know without looking at Debian changelog. When was the last time this probably went through new? I don't know if it went through last week or 10 years ago. So often it's sort of done as like a new review, and we don't even save the work of what we've already reviewed.
Thank you.
I definitely agree. This process sounds insane, but it's worked for a long time, even if it is a bit painful. So yeah, there's definitely I think outside contributors could help with writing better tooling as well. There's nothing special about the review itself. It's like you have the unpacked source tree, or you have the unpacked source tree, and that's basically it.
Any comments or any questions about it? And I want to ask you, how many of you are trying to rewrite the Debian copyright file from the before the copyright format 1.0 to copyright format 1.0? Have you ever tried it? How was your experience? Please share your comment. Anyone? You?
Yeah, interesting. I would say it's like Luca said. I have recently some PHP files reviewed because I was in the impression I can put it into the archive, but at least I've detected 2 files with exactly what Luca was mentioned. So you need to go into details. And sometimes it's really difficult because not all comments are easy to detect by algorithm as a comment, and in the end it was a mixed up from whole different stuff. It would be all compliant, but take a look of time, amount of time, at least an hour for me to review the whole file and go to GitHub, Stack Overflow or somewhere in the internet to check what's coming from. Is this a reason an actual file or something like that? So in the end, it's mostly in completely rewrite and review of a whole source code if you go from an old copyright file to a new deb5 file. Yeah. That's at least my experience I had.
Thank you. Others? Changu? Yeah? You? For you? Yeah? Or Roger?
Yeah, nothing from me, but just some little stuff that the old one has a copyright holder and author. Yeah. But the new one doesn't have an author, so I have to remove some information. Yeah. For example, if a file, if a .c file, there's a copyright holder by a company, and the author is a person. But in the new format, there's only copyright holders. Yeah. And you can only write your authors into comments or somewhere else, right? There's no headers for the author for a single file.
The new copyright file, you can really go in details about copyright holder. If you have multiple copyright holders, you just list all of them, and so there's no limitation. If I got your statement correct, so. If you have a company, if you have 2 persons, you just add 2 lines, and then it's covered.
But I mean, the copyright holder is not the author. The author of the file is just the author, but the copyright holder is the company.
So it depends. It depends.
Yeah.
So it could be both. It could be that the company holds the copyright. It could be that the person holds the copyright, and it could be both. And it could be also in temporary space different people or companies. So,
but why you want to mention about the author?
Yeah, because the old one has the author's field. So I just want to keep the information. I don't want to remove the information, right?
Yeah.
what's in the file? What's in the file in question? The name of the person or the name of the company?
The name of a person, because the company is obviously the copyright holder. So you say copyright, the year, and the company name.
Because policy says that you have to be verbatim on the copyright information. So if in the file is the person, the copyright file has to list the person.
But but the copyright law is said that the copyright holder and the author might be different, right?
They might be different, might be the same, it might be different in different legislations.
It depends, yes. Of course.
It depends.
So Debian policy says you write that what's in the file. So you do not interpret law.
Okay, but
and anyway, yeah, so.
But if the header says that he's the author, I shouldn't list it as a copyright holder, right?
Sure, yes.
Yeah, but
because the author holds copyright.
Yeah, but the old one, the old format does have the authors.
The old one is not the format.
Oh yeah, yes.
The old one is free format, freestyle.
Free format. Yeah, that means I just need when I translate to the new format, I need to remove some kind of information.
That can happen. It happens also all the time that old copyright files were just inaccurate or simply even wrong. So that's why you should put that information which is verifiable, and that's in the source code file. So that should be put into the copyright file, and that is not depending if it's the old or the new version, because
okay.
Otherwise the question would be, where did you get that information from if it's not in the source code?
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Others? Anyone? Hey, come on. This is BoF, so you can talk. Yeah. Others? You? Please take your microphone.
I don't know if my question may fit this BoF. You're talking about copyright license may fit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Isn't there yet any way to search packages in apt using for a specific license or set of this?
So I guess you want to reject some kind of license you don't want to use by the apt, right?
Yeah, or the list of the ones you want to reject or you want to accept.
But we Debian just released under the it met the DFSG or not. So you can set the use the but there's no such the feature in apt, I guess. The precise one is you should ask to the author. He have the cow on his head. You know that, Julian. Maybe he will know. He knows about that kind of feature, or he can decide that kind of feature in apt. But now we just know its package license is met to the DFSG or not, and it separate in the repository to main and contrib and the non-free. So for almost users it's enough. But I want to know that why you want to reject some kind of license packaging for your usage.
I don't know too much about licensing yet, but I think the user would, if I could, I use for this would be like there are different packages that do kind of the same thing. You may choose one that use the license you prefer between them. People may choose between packages for different reasons. Some may use license as this selection factor.
Now we don't have such feature, and I'm not sure when it implemented to the apt or some kind of package managers. But if you want, you should ask the apt maintenance. Maybe it's better to have to show its binary package license. Some people asked me to the RPM can show its binary package license, like this package is GPL or this package is BSD, but we Debian don't have such feature. Why? And I'm not sure. I just say I'm not sure. I satisfied with the package maps to the DFSG or not. It's satisfied for me. I'm not sure, but maybe it's some users want to use such a feature. We want to ask the apt or DPKG maintenance for it. Any comments? Yep.
The format is called machine readable format.
Yep.
So we have some tool to parse it and, for example, put on the web like manpage.debian.org. So we can have some website showing the information about the every package's copyright information. Because the format is not called machine readable. Do you have some tools to read it?
You're saying the format is not machine readable?
Yeah, it's machine readable, but we don't use it. Do we have use it
for you?
I mean, it's validated, and it can be used by other systems to, just Debian itself does not use it per se, but people who build off of Debian do. Having machine-readable Debian copyright means that if I'm going to build a computer, install Debian on it, and then sell it to people, I can run. I can very clearly know what the licenses of all the software I'm distributing, etc. It's useful when for third parties when, for example, I want to build a proprietary application or a GPL application. I can now very easily check all of my Debian dependencies to see whether or not they are compatible with the license I'm using. So, for example, if I want to write a program that's GPL v3 only, you could very trivially check that everything you're depending on is also is not like GPL2 only or something like that.
Yeah. So my point is that it makes sense we set up a tool, like website or other solutions to show up this information on the Debian infrastructure, like Debian website.
So like the license check as a service.
we just consuming these informations and provide others for convenience.
Oh.
As in converting it to SPDX and something like that. I guess I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the service would do, other than yes, you can parse the file and then turn it into HTML, but I don't understand what is that? How does that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it will be useful.
Okay.
So I'm asking.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, now we just give some kind of the license materials for users, and the users can use it, but we don't provide any services like our website for the users. Just there's a material, and okay, you can cook it, please do that, but it's not so handy thing for the users maybe. So if we can provide some kind of service or tool, is better than now.
I don't think there's anything we could. I mean, there's nothing that comes to mind immediately this is useful for, but you could imagine things like I only want to install software at certain licenses, or warn me, before installing software at certain licenses. You could build tools like that.
And of course, we should provide more precise materials for users before we provide the services. So we should make the Debian copyright file better, but in my point of view, I don't want to spend my time for it more because it's my private reason. I have new baby, and my wife very angry with too much time spent for Debian. So please help me to create the better package without less effort. Yeah, and yeah. Today I know about there's information on the Debian wiki, and we can try to use some tools, and let's. I want to ask you to try it and share your how do you say that, thought or some impression about that tool. Then we can maybe maintenance notice how to improve it, and we can get the better tools for the bullseye. And yeah, then you will be happy, users happy, and of course my wife will be happy. Yeah, thank you.